Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. It's Wednesday night or Thursday morning, so you know it's time for the maths mess. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time or whatever episode this is, child, then welcome back. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. Now, let me tell y'all something. This review, I pretty much just wanted to focus on Johnny and Bao and Ryan and Brett. But I said I can't do y'all like that because I know we like to really get into our reviews, honey, with the detail and the jokes of it all. So I'm going to continue on the way we've been doing since we've been on this Married at First Sight train. But, honey, I got some things I need to say. So when the episode first opens up, day 33 of marriage, Mirla and Gil, they're rising and shining. Rise and shine. Shout out to Kylie Jenner. Rachel and Jose, she said, she would kiss him, but her breath. Girl, you been kissing him. Child, that's just a sign that she's over it, okay? She was like, I would kiss you with my breath. Honey, I was kissing all up in that honeymoon. They ain't brushed her teeth the first. Do you hear me? Brett and all her flowers. People are sharing their condolences with her. And on top of that, things are not going well with Ryan. Oh, poor Brett, honey. It's just not her time. So Michaela's sitting here in her natural state while Zach points out that she has no fake lashes or fake hair. She's a 10 out of 10. Well, honey, what is wrong with that? Okay, what is wrong with giving a little judge? Okay, I'm not saying I don't appreciate the natural. I do. You better not let Mirla hear you talk about those lashes. Child is gonna be a fool. Do y'all hear me? 23 days until decision day. Mirla and Gil. Gil is making a protein shake, and Mirla's like, "Can you make me a shake?" He's like, "You can make one for yourself." So he's telling her that his lease is up in 3 weeks and he got the floor plan and some of the prices for the place that they're staying, with the whole shared apartment of it all. So he's telling her the sizes and the prices and that they may vary. So she's like, "How much is the difference?" He's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Oh, child. He got a little attitude this morning. Honey, he must have woken up on the wrong side of the bed, child, or on the wrong side of the firehouse or something is happening, child, but it ain't adding up." So he's like, "I don't like high-rise apartments. I don't need an elevator. I'm not a fan of parking garages going around and around. I hate that. I hate concierge. That's bougie." Well, honey, bad and bougie. Honey, just call me bad and bougie. Shout out to the Migos, because I'm just trying to figure out what is wrong with living in a place that is nice. He's like, "I can open my own doors." So who's the complainer now, Gil? Huh? Who's the complainer now? Just say you don't want to spend over $600 a month and go on head on, boy. Goodbye. So he said, "So what are you looking for in an apartment?" Honey, luxury. Very much so luxury. She said, "Well, I like new apartments." Mirla, listen, I am with you, okay? You could very well do that, or you could very well do Bissonnet. Now, if you're from Houston, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So then she's like, "I also need a new phone." He's like, "What you need a new phone for?" She's like, "I need a new camera." Not Mirla, you just adding stuff to the list, child. So then he goes, "Her wanting all these new things is very concerning to me because, I feel like she's going to throw me away when I'm not new." Okay, Gil. Honey, I know you want to be on the Tizoob and television and whatnot, but honey, you're giving very much actor, okay? Because this lady is not going to get rid of you because you're not new. These are things. I have never once heard Mirla say anything negative about Gil. It's always about something material, something tangible. So I don't understand what you're talking about, honey. You're just saying something so you can fit in with the other couples. Child, just ride the Gil wave, honey, and calm on down. Cut it out, Gil. Her wanting newer things does not mean she's going to trade you in for a newer model. Moving forward, Rachel and Jose. She's making breakfast. He's saying last week they weren't on the same page, but he's going to do everything to make it work. Joseing again. Okay, I'm really not on the same page with Jose. I just can't really shake it because I really believe that this is who Jose is. Honey, just call me Zach. Moving forward. Rachel is saying she has no patience to scramble an egg. She'd rather microwave her eggs. Yuck. Okay. Rachel, it takes 3 minutes tops to make an egg, any type of egg, unless it's a boiled egg. And even then, honey, it don't take that long. Girl, not you don't want to stand over a stove because you want to microwave an egg. So then Rachel starts saying, last week, I didn't even know a man like Jose existed. You mean one that put you on the outside on national TV? Well, girl, neither did we. So she's like, it was a rough week last week, but, I feel 1,000 times better. And I feel like I voiced my concern and he listened. No, ma'am. You coerced him into an apology, but go ahead and live in bliss, sis. Rachel, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. You may be over it, but I am not, because I feel like history will soon repeat itself. So they sit down to eat, and he asks, what is the first thing she's looking forward to doing? She said, I'm looking forward to our first trip to Europe, just a trip with a spouse, not my mom, not my friends, just someone I love. He said, I want to take a road trip to Texas. I say, what now? Correct me if I'm wrong, but last time I checked, we live in Texas. Last time I checked, Houston was a part of Texas. Or is that just me? Child, wait a minute. Let me get my geography. Child, let me get the globe. And I need to make sure that Houston is in Texas. She said she wanted to go to Europe. He said he wanted to go to, I don't know where he wants to go, child. He wants to go to Texas, and he's already living in Texas. He's like, Texas is huge. So then he starts talking about the road trip of it all. No way, Jose. Okay? Cheapskate. El Cheapo. So you still aren't budgeting for a trip. I don't want to hear nothing you have to say until you write trip to Europe on that whiteboard. Moving forward. She's like, his definition of travel and mine, they're very different. Well, honey, that's not the only thing different. Johnny and Bao, they're cooking bolognese, and Johnny, take notes. Y'all are actually cooking, okay? Because I don't want to hear nothing about you never had bolognese before. You don't remember having bolognese over this zucchini pasta. I don't want to hear that. Okay, y'all are cooking. Pay attention. So she's like, I'm using whole tomatoes, even though it called for crushed tomatoes. He's like, what? Deviating from the recipe? That's not like you. Johnny, stop picking at this woman, honey. She's not taking it too seriously. You complain when she does that. That's something you wanted, right? You wanted her to live a little, whole tomatoes instead of crushed tomatoes, live on the edge a little bit. Remember when you said that? Child, I'm getting on my nerves, child. So he tells us, I'm 50-50 on the relationship because I just feel like she got a little iron problem. Now, y'all know he didn't say she got a little iron problem, but y'all know I like to zhuzh it up because last episode, Johnny felt like Bao was putting on airs because she wanted everyone to like her. Moving forward. So then he asked her, what are some things you prefer not to do alone? She said, I prefer not to do chores alone and bedroom activities. And I have a happy drawer just for myself. And that's something that I haven't shared with anybody else. So he's like, do you think you would want to bring something from that drawer over here? She's like, would you want to do that? He was like, well, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So Johnny is drinking Prosecco. Okay. So he's feeling Bao at the moment. Every time he got a drink in his hand, I got my drink, get my two-step, my drink, get my two-step. He feeling good. Okay. So that's all he needs to feel like Bao is somebody he would actually be in a relationship with. So he's telling Bao it's a drinking game that they should play while they're cooking. Truth or sip. I don't think y'all should be playing nothing. But y'all, we gonna get into it if we gonna get into it. He said, if you don't want to answer the question, you have to take a sip. So Bao goes straight in, honey. She starts speaking her speech. She said, so what is going to be your answer on decision day? And he had the nerve to take a sip. Baby, Johnny would piss me off. All the way off. Do y'all hear me? I mean, Bao. Bao, Bao, Bao. Boom, 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 boom. Shout out to Hurricane Chris. I had to do it, honey, because there's no other place I'm going to be able to fit it in. Let's continue. Bao, let me just say this to you, honey. How many different ways must he say I'm not interested? Does he need to say it in Mandarin? And the reason why I'm suggesting Mandarin is because you were trying to learn his family member's name in Mandarin. So I'm just trying to figure out if that's the way he needs to say it to you or what is happening, honey. Girl, you deserve better. Like, why do you keep continuing to ask him questions that you know you're not going to want to hear the answers to? Like, I'm not understanding this, child. So then he asked her. She said, I would stay married to you. He was probably hoping she was going to say, I would get a divorce as well. That was not the answer he was looking for. So he said, so how do you know that already? So she's always reassuring Johnny, but she gets nothing. I feel like he likes when she strokes his ego. That's what I'm really getting from this. Because, otherwise it's not making any sense. So she said because she's ended about all of her relationships and she's not quitting this time. She's all in with no regrets. So he's like, I like that attitude. It seems like Bao always has to prove herself. Baby, this marriage will be over. Do y'all hear me? I cannot stand people trying to nitpick me apart, honey. It would not work for me. But that's just me. So then they grab some wine and make a toast to yes on decision day. Child, they kiss because, of course, alcohol is involved. And she's like, I can see your effort. All of it. Girl, what am I missing? Are we watching the same show? Y'all comment down below if y'all see the effort and whatnot. Michaela and Zach. They go to do something physical, okay? Let's get physical, physical. Shout out to Jacob from Married at First Sight season 12. You know, he loves the 80s of it all. So he said, they talked about working out together, and he knows she wants to hit him and knock him down on the ground, but it's not going to happen. Well, child, we been knew that. She wanted to knock you down on the ground since you left to take that codependent dog to daycare. Y'all know I got to bring in the codependent dog. So they get in these little bubble suits, right? They're going to play bubble ball. They're going to run into each other, and whoever goes further when they get knocked down will be the winner. So they start, and Zach is like, Michaela, don't go too hard. And, you got to be careful with her, child. You got to give her direction. So she's like, look, I looked up techniques, and the plan was to run and thrust myself and be as erratic as possible, but I failed. Girl, so you failed at being erratic? Who would have thunk it? So Zach is knocking her down each and every time, and then finally she knocks him down. Child, I'm glad they get to get their frustrations out without anyone going to jail. Moving forward. So then they make a bet. Whoever loses has to do a dance. Michaela loses, so she has to do the Dougie. My Dougie, my Dougie, my Dougie. Now, if you don't know what that is, then you need to go ahead and get on the YouTube or the Googler and just put in Dougie. Okay, not Dougie Fresh, honey, not to be confused with Dougie Fresh. This is an actual dance in the South, and it was originated from a rapper in Dallas. But I'm just giving y'all a little side note so that you know exactly what he was saying when he said do the Dougie. But anywho, child, I don't know what she was doing. After seeing Michaela do whatever that was, it was definitely not the Dougie. After seeing her do that, I'm convinced that she sat out at salsa due to the dance moves. Moving forward. They actually had a pretty decent time, and she asked him, when did he feel the happiest in their marriage? He's like, you tell me. She was like, I feel like you felt the happiest, again after the honeymoon when you came back to the apartment. And he said he feels she was happiest when they were at the reception and he did a little dance and all of his friends got behind him and she started to cry. And when they showed that flashback, I was like, dang, man, this could have really been beautiful. Why y'all can't act like y'all got some sense? Moving forward. Johnny and Bao. It's time to eat, so y'all know what time it is. Time for a serious conversation. Sure. So Bao goes, is it good? Johnny said, yeah, it's really good. It's really seasoned very well. Child, I'm surprised she got a compliment out of him. Ooh, child, I was nervous. So he goes, you ready to ask me the next truth or sip question? Oh, Lord. Y'all asking each other questions never goes over well. But child, let's get into it. So Johnny said, in this relationship, do you feel like you're putting in 100% effort? Every time he speaks about, it's like he's doing her yearly evaluation on the job. You know that evaluation that they do and asking you if you're doing your best so that you don't get fired? That's exactly what it feels like every time he talks to Bao. Honey, it's been a month. Y'all don't even know each other. Okay, like, let the girl live. You in your pink shorts? Honey, she's not gonna be the perfect wife right off the bat. What are you doing? So she's like, I feel like I'm doing everything. He said everything. Yes. Everything she can. You've been picking her apart for 5 weeks, so you probably haven't noticed. He said, if your 100% was my 100%, I feel like I'm putting in 150%. Well, Johnny, honey, your math ain't mathing. He's like, I plan dates. I do this. I do that. She's like, I feel like you're not giving me credit. He said, well, when have you tried in this relationship? Johnny, now, why are you hitting this table? Honey, pipe down. Pipe down on my girl Bao now, honey. I don't like all that aggression and whatnot. You can speak to her without hitting this table. Okay, let's continue. So she's like, I do things, day to day. I'm consistently doing things. He's like, you haven't been consistent about anything. So she feels like he doesn't appreciate what she does and doesn't. So let me get this straight. This week's issue is she doesn't poke him to go jogging in the morning. She isn't spending enough time with him. Last week, it was she didn't initiate intimacy. Child, I'm exhausted, honey, and I'm not even in a relationship. Child, oh my goodness. Separate. What we gotta do, separate. Shout out to Yvonne. Honey, this is a fool. She said, I can do that. I can do, whatever it is you need. She said, I'm frustrated because you don't give me credit. You complain about me constantly. So he gets pissed, y'all. He gets up and goes into the other room. Now listen to me. This part right here really triggered me. So Bao is doing an interview. She's saying her 100% is different from his and she wants him to be less negative. So as she's talking, Johnny screams out and he starts cussing. She actually looked frightened. Okay, all jokes aside, this experiment would have been over for me. The process or whatever they call it, honey, it would have been done for me. How dare he emotionally abuse her and then startle her? I don't like that. And the reason why I say that is because I have been in an abusive relationship. I'm not saying Johnny would physically abuse her. I'm not saying that. But the look on her face, she was frightened. She was startled. I didn't like that. Okay, it was very triggering for me. Now, I understand you not, liking your wife or whatever it is y'all got going on. But, like, you really need to calm down, honey. Pipe down, because this is a little bit too much. You're clearly unstable emotionally, okay? This disagreement did not warrant that. You're doing a little bit too much. Honey, it was a disagreement. She feels like she's giving her all. You don't feel like she's giving her all. Okay, there's a difference of opinion. We can get past that. You screaming and cussing out in the background. Child, what is wrong with you? So he comes out and she's looking scared and abused. And she walks up to him and says, what's wrong? Bow. We don't give a damn what's wrong. Bow? Honey, we don't care. Listen. When someone shows you who they are, please believe them, okay? I just need you to take some time and step back. Step outside of Bow and just say to yourself, if this were one of my friends and they were putting up with this type of treatment, would I say to them, go ahead and go on over and figure out what's wrong with them? I understand that for better or for worse and you being his wife and whatnot, but honey, this is unacceptable. So he's like, we're just not compatible. No, you're not. She's sane. You should have gone on Unmatchables, honey. This is a fool. He said he hates having disagreements like this, but you always initiate them with these dumb questions. Stop asking all of these questions and let the natural progression of your marriage happen. Johnny, I'm speaking directly to you. When Johnny first stepped on the scene, I was like, Johnny, that's my boy. I like his personality. I like the way. So it really is feeling like to me that maybe the person that you were showing us on this casting special is not the real you. So, I mean, maybe you see a lot of yourself in Bow. Honey, I'm just confused as to what's happening because this right here is not the guy that I liked when I saw the casting special. Honey, this is a mess. Well, we had a disagreement. It's okay. Bow, he wants you to leave first so he doesn't look like the bad guy. Stop explaining to him. He is just not that into you, sweetheart. He's like, why are we so different in the way we approach things? You aren't Siamese cats. You are two individual human beings. You have your own point of view. If she can never disagree with you or see things differently, honey, that's a red flag. So Bow is still trying to comfort him. Bow, let go of the popular guy from college you had a crush on. That person that you were idolizing, that's not the real Johnny. This is the real Johnny. Honey, be happy he ghosted you. He's doing it again, just in marriage. Moving forward. Brett is having drinks with her friend Deborah. Child, why are these chairs so disgusting? Child, I looked at those chairs. I was like, what is happening? Ooh, child. So she's telling her that they watched the wedding video when they did their little, 1 month anniversary date. But it's like they're watching two different videos. It definitely looked like he was watching a horror film and you were watching something else. So her friend said, so he wasn't sentimental when you watched it? She was like, no. So she was asking Brett if she was sentimental when she watched it. She said, no, because, real life and the video, they're two totally different things. And she feels like Ryan is checked out. Things have changed because it was different in the beginning. Brett said between Baxter and Ryan, it's been a tough couple days. Oh, poor Brett, honey. Zach and Ryan are over there working out, and he's asking how things are going with him and Brett. So he's like, I don't know. I had this beautiful picture of a marriage, but it's just not happening. So Zach tells him what Pastor Cal told him. He said, Pastor Cal told me that maybe this is happening because I had already decided in my mind that the marriage was over, which is why things probably won't work out. So he was like, do you think that you're doing that? Ryan's like, I don't know. I don't think so. Ryan, what do you know, honey? I don't know. You're with Zach. Don't be afraid to pipe up. Speak your speech, honey. You can say whatever it is you need to say to Zach. Zach is not Brett. Go ahead and get it out, okay? So that he can maybe help walk you through it on what you need to say to Brett. Child, what is happening? You need to know, Ryan. You need to know. So Zach said, well, how does she think your marriage is going? He said, she has to know at this point. Zach said, you're saying she has to know. Does she? Because in this situation, you have to be very direct because she thinks everything's okay. Ryan, honey, now it's not the time to be playing games or guess what you're thinking or whatever it is you're trying to do, honey. This is a marriage, not a game of Clue. Get it together or leave it alone. So Brett is talking to her friend and she was like, he got to a point where the doubts started settling in and they affected their marriage, but she got over her doubts very early on. So her friend is like, yeah, I knew you would do that because you're not superficial or all about the physical. So then Brett gonna say, I don't think it's about the physical. Brett, honey, it's definitely about the physical. Okay. Like, what else is there? She said, I crave emotional connection. So that's why I'm still trying, because I know the moment that I get that, it's going to be well worth it. Brett, let it go, honey. Like Elsa on Frozen, child. Let it go. Ryan has had the same facial expression for 5 weeks and it ain't changing. His face said what it said and he ain't changing it. Honey, let it go. Moving forward. Zach is telling Ryan, listen, put it out there and tell her exactly how you feel. And Ryan is like, I don't know, man. Ryan, stop being a fraidy cat, honey, and just tell Brett you aren't in for the long haul. As long as you're not being a jerk, honey, shout out to Johnny. As long as you're not being a jerk, it's okay to just say, listen, the person that I'm matched with, they aren't for me. And that's okay. It's all about having tact. If you say it in a way that won't possibly demean her, then maybe she'll be more receptive to it. Brett seems like a big girl. You just got to tell it. Like sometimes you just got to rip the Band-Aid off. 21 days until decision day. Bao tells us Johnny didn't stay at the apartment last night. Johnny, just go ahead and end it, honey. You don't like Bao, okay? Every argument, you go straight to the end of the marriage. Like, it's exhausting. And you're always running to that apartment. It's ridiculous, okay? He said he stayed at his apartment because he didn't want to continue to say things that could hurt her. Okay. At this point, Bao, you need to pull a Jose and change the locks. Baby, Johnny will be coming home to an echo. Do y'all hear me? He would be, hello, 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 hello. Yeah, I'm gone. On the I-10 by 10. Moving forward. Bao is like, I'm still here. I'm still all in. He says he's in, but he ducks and runs. He's like, I'm not in a good place, but, she's coming to Uncle Frank's barbecue. So she's like, I have to put on this fake smile and learn all their names in Mandarin. Child, please. I wish I would learn some names in some Mandarin. Child, you're going to get English if you don't get nothing else. Because first of all, your nephew don't know how to treat a person. Okay, so hello, Uncle Frank. Straight up English. Child, I'm petty like that. It's a mess. The way this marriage going, honey, you probably ain't going to never see these people again anyway. So Bao is trying very hard, honey. She's really trying to impress Johnny. I wouldn't go nowhere with him, but that's just me. He would be looking for me in the daytime with a flashlight. Brett and Ryan. They go do a Ryan-approved activity. They're doing a double date with Jose and Rachel. Brett planned it because she wants to show him that she cares and that she's trying. Why are the women on this season trying so hard? The men have to give nothing, but the women are just, I got to try. I got to show him. I got to prove it. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Please accept me. It's getting on my nerves. It's getting on my nervous system. The only man that is proven to his woman that he actually wants her is Gil. Like, this is some foolishness. The instructor shows them what to do. Of course, Ryan does it with such ease, honey, because he's Hercules. Then Jose and his little Speedy Gonzalez looking behind, they go. And he's scooting on down the wall and whatnot. Child, Joseing again. He was about to break his knees coming down, as you should. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. So Rachel got up there, which was cool. She made it all the way to the top, and then Brett, honey, she tried. Oh, girl faces obstacles and hurdles in our marriage and on this course. Honey, it's a fool. Ryan's like, yeah, I'm really having a great time. Honey, I couldn't tell. Ryan definitely didn't get his dose of facial expressions and emotions when they were passing them out. And God had us all standing in line to give us a little bit of this, a dash of that, a pinch of excitement, a pinch of crying, a pinch of sadness. Honey, and he was like, just move Ryan on through the line. Keep Ryan going. Don't stop on Ryan. Keep moving. Child, this is a mess. He always looks so miserable. Ryan, get some zhuzh in your face. Moving forward. So then they do this relay race for Brett to be a gym teacher, child. Her athleticism is questionable at best. So Brett is like, I hope this is helping our marriage. Child, y'all can't stay on an obstacle course 24 hours a day. Y'all gonna have to talk. Work it out. It's not happening. In the next scene, Michaela goes to meet with her sister and she's telling her about the marriage and all the ways her and Zach are different. She's like, being married really challenges you. She said when they first met, it was all rainbows and unicorns, but then they've been through some ups and some downs. Sometimes she feels like she has to give him grace because he's not ready to talk at that time. She's like, and then he'll come back around and say, okay, now let's talk. Honey, I feel like Michaela talks a good game, but she just says things that sound good. That's the same thing she did when she got in front of Zach's parents. Y'all ain't about nothing you saying, but y'all gonna set yourself off. She would never make it with Johnny. Saying stuff that you think sounds good? Oh, no, ma'am. So she said, I really feel like marriage is a Rubik's Cube. No, ma'am, y'all marriage is like a game of operation. You got to be really careful because if you pull the wrong thing, then you're going to hear, child, y'all going to go off on each other. So, I would pretty much go with operation. So her sister is like, oh, so you're learning to speak your feelings and not just act them out. And she's like, yeah. No. Honey, you just acted them out in that salsa class. But y'all, that's neither here nor there. She said that Zach feels, comfortable enough to talk to her the way she needs to be talked to. Basically, he's putting his foot down. Michaela likes somebody rough, okay? She needs somebody to really get into it as they get into it. Kind of like how Gil was doing. She needs a man that's more assertive. So she's saying, Zach stepping up to the plate and whatnot. Her sister is like, so are we having babies? Hey, they better not be. We got a long way to go. Her sister also said Michaela used to bottle things up, but she's matured over the past few weeks and become more vulnerable. Sis, Michaela has not matured yet. She can get there, but she ain't there yet. So her sister was like, are we in like? Michaela said, I'm definitely in love. Child, every time I hear that, it sounds insane. Mirla and Gil. She FaceTimes her friend, and she's like, what's going on with your lashes? I'll have to cuss Mirla out. Girl, don't call me out on this FaceTime. People have not zoomed into my face. So I don't even know what's going on. They don't realize I'm bald about the eyes until you start talking. Girl, goodbye. So she was like, well, what's it like to live with a frugal person? She's like, it's fine because he's frugal in the right places. So she was like, my husband, he went looking for a place and he said it had an acre of land behind it and a place where we can raise the kids, and the gym has a place where the people are doing gym exercises and they talk to you, and also they're going to come in and make our beds every day. Child, she was saying all kinds of stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, now Gil, a bald-headed lie. A bald-headed lie. Because first of all, if you don't want to pay to stay where you're staying now and the amenities are not half fat, you went and found a place like that on your shoestring budget? So her friend is like, do you trust him to look for a place? She was like, yeah, because he knows what I like. Child, her friend said, oh, you love spending money. Honey, Ann does. Baby Mirla said, my husband and my husband and my husband. Child, she was saying my husband so much. I was like, child, what is his name? I almost forgot his name was Gil. Where in Houston is that? I have never heard of or seen any place in Houston like that. And I've lived on every side of town. The north side, the south side, Pearland, Sugarland, Westheimer, Beltway 8, East Side. Where is it? Honey, I need to know. Mirla, hit me in the DMs. Moving forward. So her friend asked about Gil's disco ball head because she knew that she didn't want bald guys, right? So she's like, you know what? I actually focused on the positive, and he is such a good person. He's very patient with me. So she was just saying all things great about Gil. I know that's right, girl. You better get into it and stand your husband. Her friend said, do you realize when he's upset about something? She's like, yeah, I realize when he's tired, he's much more quiet, which is rare. Child, we know that's right, because Gil is a chatty Cathy. Oh, she's learning his habits and whatnot. So Miller is like, the only thing is he's very sociable and he likes to go to people's houses, and I don't like to do that. She was like, he wants to go meet his friend at his new house, and I wanted to meet him at a bar, and he was not having it. Her friend said, it's not the Mirla show. You have to meet his friends. Yes, more of this friend and her missing lashes. Moving forward, Johnny and Bao. We see Johnny dressed in all white at this crawfish boil, but it's no sign of Bao. So then we see Bao, and she tells us Johnny called and told her not to come to the barbecue. She said clearly he doesn't want to be married because as a wife, I'm pissed. I would be gone. By the time Johnny's peanut head returned, I would be completely packed up. Michaela left her marriage for less. So this dude went to a full-on family function without his wife. Child, he treats her like crap. So Johnny is sitting there having crawfish and putting down Bao. And he's like, I feel like she's trying to put in effort and she's going to have to put in a little more before she comes to a family function. Johnny really thinks he's the bee's knees. He's like, she's just not ready. She's just not doing what I need her to do. So he's tearing her down to his family and telling them that he wants high school romance. So then his uncle said, I hate to tell you this, but you're not in high school anymore. Uncle, please tell him again, honey. Johnny, this is not High School Musical. You are a 30-plus-year-old man. You need to grow up. He's like, if things never change, I'm not interested anymore. Well, honey, kick rocks. So they're like, so what do you think she's doing right now? He's like, she's probably sitting in bed texting. The entire time, Bao is meal prep. Is this the meal prep Johnny said that Bao doesn't do? Okay, because we need to make sure we take notes of this. She's like, I'm an administrative director at a cancer institution. I could be doing other things. I don't have time to do this. Okay, Lifetime. Y'all are putting these people through emotional manipulation and abuse at this point. Last season it was Paige. This season it's Bao. Bao, honey, get out while you still can. On decision day, child, flip your hair over your shoulder and say no, okay? Don't put in a bit more effort. He doesn't appreciate you and he don't want you. Girl, I'm sad to say it. So Johnny is over there talking to his aunt and she's asking about how things are going. He's like, yeah, I'm making the best of it. Oh my God. Oh, child. His aunt said, so if you come in with no expectations, I feel like it'll be better. He said, I have high expectations for someone that's going to be my wife, and she's not meeting them. He doesn't like the way she thinks, the way she breathes, the way she smiles, the way she sleeps, the way she exists. He can't stand her, basically. He said the more he learns about her, the less he likes her. Oh my God. So his aunt is trying to talk some sense into him and whatnot, and he says he's been single this long because he hasn't settled for less. Oh, is that it? Or would no one have you? Honey, you keep projecting your own insecurities onto Bao. Child, this is some foolishness. Rachel and Jose. Their attempt to grow these flowers failed. Honey, they're as dead as their relationship. Ryan goes to visit his sister, child. He said he's usually very direct and usually has a very good idea of how things are going to go and what things are going to be, but he's confused right now. His sister said, so how is it living with a woman? He's like, I don't know. This reminds me of Ryan from last season saying, sure, every 5 minutes. So this season, Ryan is saying, I don't know. Child, take a shot every time y'all hear Ryan say, I don't know. So his sister is like, is she cleaner? Is she dirtier than me? Again, he's like, I don't know. He said on the honeymoon, her bathroom was completely filthy, but I was thinking, we're living out of suitcases, we're on a honeymoon, but now the second bedroom looks like a closet. So then they show us the footage. Brett, this is gross. Okay, it's giving very much slob kebab, college freshman dorm. Honey, my parents are not around, so I don't have to pick up after myself. This is nasty. No man is going to be turned on by a slob. Child, if they don't want to wash their Hello Kitties, they don't want to wash their clothes. Now, this is a mess. He said she just put her clothes in the washing machine, and it's lunchtime, and they're still in there. But she claims she's going to put them in the dryer. But I bet when I return home, they're still going to be there. Brett, those clothes are going to smell like mildew. Honey, they're going to have to be rewashed. Moving forward. Child, we was worried about Bao. We need to be worried about Brett. Something about these women with the first initial B. So his sister said, well, if she left the dishes in the sink and she was a Victoria's Secret model, would it bother you? He was like, I probably would wash the dishes with a smile. Ryan, that was a very douchey thing to say. Okay? Ciao. So she's like, well, have you told her about the cleanliness? He's like, yeah, I'm having a hard time with that because he tells us in the confessional the way he was raised, they didn't really speak on emotion. Well, Ryan, honey, you got to either piss or get off the pot because Brett needs to know the deal. He said Brett is always worked up, so he's trying to be calmer to even her out. Child, any more calm and they may mistakenly bury you. Honey, we already got to check for your pulse. His sister tells him, don't change yourself for her. Just be straight up and just tell her, because if a man was with me, I would want him to tell me the deal. He's like, I don't want to say this to her because she's not going to want to hear what I have to say. Well, child, saying something is better than saying nothing. 20 days until decision day. Michaela and Zach. They go to hang up their vows on the wall and they hang them up sideways, which is very indicative of how sideways things go between the two of them. Moving forward, they're about to do the scrapbook and they're trying to decide what they're going to do with these pictures. So then they decide they're going to write a poem using the initials of their name. So she writes her poem and it's all about love. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V, very, very extraordinary. And E is even more. I'm like, girl. So she's doing her poem all about LOVE. So then Zach gonna say, oh, that's nice. I went more of the joke route. Oh, when I tell y'all I let out the loudest cackle, it was between production, making the music totally different when Zach said his poem to the way Michaela's was when she said her poem. Charlie's a fool. So he starts saying, M is for the most treacherous fights and how you try to bite every part of my body even though you know it ain't right. Child, what kind of poem? Child, what kind of poem is this? Michaela just smiling. Child, these two are pretending to be in love this week, so we're going to let them go ahead and set themselves off. It's good to see y'all getting along because next week they're back on the BS. Moving forward, Johnny and Bao. Baby Johnny shows back up to the apartment like he ain't been gone all night. They're having a Zoom call with Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal ain't got his glasses on, honey, because he want to make sure these crazies don't fog him up, because y'all know how Chris did him last season. So he's like, Johnny, you look so sad. What is it? He said, I'm sad because I feel like I'm married to someone that's not right for me. He said, I didn't want her to be around my family because I didn't want her getting attached to them or them getting attached to her when I don't even like her. Damn, Johnny. Like, Johnny, that is disgusting. Bao does not deserve this verbal abuse. Like, something is really wrong with you. So Pastor Cal said, well, why don't you like her, Johnny? He said, she isn't genuine. She said, well, what is the side that I'm showing that's not genuine? He said, the things that aren't true. Like, you say those things in front of other people. She said, just give me an example. He said, okay, I can give you one. So he starts talking about the dinner and her saying she cooks gourmet meals. He said, we're cooking gourmet meals together. Let me just say this. None of what y'all eating or cooking is gourmet meals, okay? I've seen salmon and some rice or some quinoa or whatnot and some zucchini and meat sauce, okay? That does not scream gourmet. So, I mean, I know y'all want it to sound fancy and whatnot. As long as you're eating, like, who cares? He said, so when are we doing it separately? Johnny, you're arguing about semantics at this point. She's like, do I have time to do those things? He said, see, it's a bunch of excuses. Johnny, she has a job. Nobody has time to be your hentai sex slave and your gourmet chef, okay? Your level of proven bow isn't a great wife, honey. Oh, child, it's very sobering. So she said, I did bolognese, I did salmon, I meal prepped. I feel like I have to list out everything I do, but I did do them. So Pastor Cal said, did she do those things or not? He's just sitting there. He said, Johnny, did she do them or not? He said, we did those things together. Pastor Cal said, Johnny, are you sorry you signed up for this? So then he's like, because you're not being fair. He's saying she's making excuses, but he's discrediting his marriage. Pastor Cal said, is there someone else? Because in my history, this happens when someone's attention is divided. He said he wishes he was matched with anyone other than Bao. Pastor Cal said, Johnny, that's just mean. Bao said, you've said a lot of mean things to me. Johnny, you and your blue shirts and your khaki pants, honey, y'all have lost your mind. What makes you think it's okay to verbally attack her in this way? If you don't like her, stop sleeping with her. Okay, please stop leading her on. I think he paused answering the question to further hurt Bao. That's what I personally think. Johnny, let me be clear. If you could have had the perfect girl, you would have already been married. So then he tells Pastor Cal, there's no one else. But he's comparing Bao to the ideal person that he thought he'd be married to. And who do you think she's comparing you to? Bao, I owe you an apology, honey. You knew he wasn't ish when you got that jersey, honey. You deserve your Albert Einstein. Child, I feel like a fool. So Pastor Cal said, Johnny, that's sabotage. She does not exist. Have a funeral for her. Let's all bow our heads for the ideal woman that Johnny thinks he has. A moment of silence. And we're back. He tells him that nobody's perfect, but they found someone imperfect for him. He said, this woman is taking all this. She's sitting here. That's who she is. She's strong and confident and she doesn't quit easily. That's what you need. And she's going to be an incredible wife to you. Slow down, Pastor Glasses. Okay, I don't agree. I don't agree with subjecting Bao to verbal and emotional abuse week after week after week. She isn't here to be strong. She did not sign up to be America's strongest woman. Honey, she's not trying to set a Guinness Book of World Records who can be the strongest wife and take the most abuse. No, she didn't sign up for that. She's here to be matched with a person willing to try with her. Next week, it's going to be something else. Where's Dr. Pepper, honey? Because Master P would have got them all the way together. Do y'all hear me? So Pastor Cal is just looking. Bao is crying. She looks destroyed. Pastor Cal goes, Johnny, I want you to make me a promise. I want you to promise that you're going to push through. No, thank you, honey. No, thank you. Bao is visibly broken. I don't like this. This is traumatizing her. And I mean, this could very well carry on into her next relationship. Honey, it's giving very much, let's get the hell out. Moving forward, Jose and Rachel, they go wine tasting. They're trying different wines, and Rachel goes off on this tangent about how great things are and how great they're doing. So Jose is saying Rachel is doing the little things that he likes. Child, she don't even want to make eggs standing up. Okay, child, goodbye. She said, when this is over, we're going to be starting over because you'll be going back to your house and I won't. So it's going to be a big adjustment. She said, she's never been in a relationship during the summer. She's like, I'm just telling you now, summer Rachel, I get bored easily and being in the house 24/7, I might get snappy. She said, make sure that you brace yourself. He said, what do you mean? She said, I might snap on you and you can't criticize me at all because if you do, then I'm out. Well, Charlie probably gonna lock you outside before then anyway. So y'all set yourself off. Moving forward, Gil goes to meet with one of his homeboys. And honey, I say homeboys because that's what he was looking like. Had a pinky ring on and everything. It felt more natural to call him his homeboy. So he's like, how's married life? He said, I'm not renewing my lease, so there's that. So then the servers bring out the food. I'm like, look at these heifers trying to be seen on TV. It does not take two people to bring two plates. You have two hands. Child, I see y'all. So he asked about any concerns. Gil tells him about Mirla being a girly girl. And, she makes good money so she can afford the things that she likes. He said the only thing that he doesn't like is that she said that she wouldn't change her lifestyle for anyone. He feels like it's selfish. Gil, please, honey, it's not selfish. Why would she have to eat ramen all of a sudden because she's married to you when she's used to eating steak and lobster? As long as she can afford it, it'll be fine. And she's making a whole bunch of concessions for you. Some of them we haven't even seen, and this is what I mean. His friend said, did y'all consummate the marriage? Gil's like, nah, we ain't do that. Gil, you a lie. Honey, all this changing y'all doing something in that bedroom. So then he starts talking about how Mirla wants a dog of her own. So they show us that Mirla has been given the zhuzh with hype that should be given. I love to see it. That's definitely what good loving gonna do for you, okay? Have you walking dogs you don't even want. Brett and Ryan. Brett shows up at home. Ryan said, she had a rough week, and then Maisley decided to feast on her condolences flowers. Try to get this big old dog off this table. Oh, so he feels like he has to tell Brett what's the deal. Apparently, Ryan has been sleeping on the couch. So they start talking, and he says he's on the couch because it's easier for her. Okay. He said he doesn't want to let her down, but it's not happening. So he tells her it's like of no fault of her own. Ryan, pipe up. Speak your speech, honey. Brett said, I feel like it's something he wants to say, but he isn't. Honey, and is? She's like, just speak your speech. We don't need to talk in circles. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. He said he knows her past, so he doesn't want to do that to her again. Now, I can respect that. I can respect the fact that he doesn't want to upset her knowing that she's been in these situations before. That's nice, Ryan. But you're making it worse. You don't have to be a jackass. Just say it. You can say it in a very loving way because she deserves to know. So then he starts talking about him getting some sleep. She's like, go in there, go in the second bedroom. Brett is like, if you don't want to be with me, don't be with me, but tell me that. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself. Shout out to Fantasia. Ciao, goodbye. Poor Brett. I know it feels horrible knowing, but not knowing if the person you're, paired with actually even likes you. Ryan does not like Brett. And he keeps saying, I don't know. Well, hell, we don't know either. And Ryan, so basically you did all that to get permission to sleep in the second bedroom and not feel bad? Boy, gone. Child, and that was the end of the episode. Honey, these people on this episode. Child, Houston is showing out. Houston, we have a problem. Child, y'all comment down below and tell me exactly how you felt about this episode. I know y'all gonna go in on Johnny. And I can't wait to read. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.